Hey, this is Dr. Webster here with with your lecture for this week, week 13. We're looking at contemporary poetics. This week I'm actually going to hold off on actually going through the discussion of contemporary poetics and all the poems I had you read, because the list I gave you for week 13 is a little bit shorter. So what I think I'm going to do is just combine both of those, and then I'll give them in kind of one larger lecture that kind of covers all of these things. And also this week you got some other things going on, so we'll keep this short and brief and kind of give you some time to focus on the actual work of things. So one of the things I'm asking you to do, and you'll notice it's the second thing on the list for the class, is select and submit a poem for class reading by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. What that means is one of the things I want you to do this week is I would like you to actually choose a poem of your liking, something that you enjoy, something that you think is a good poem, and I'd like you to send me a link to it or send me a copy of the poem itself. Preferably a link so I can put the links into the module. But what we're going to do in the last couple of weeks is the readings for the class will be actually constructed out of the poems that you folks have picked for what you think are worthwhile poems to read. So I'd kind of like you to send me a link to a poem sometime within the next week by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, preferably, so I can put those into the wording. If you don't send me links, I'll just pick them myself, and there's no guarantee you'll like what I like, so it's kind of fun at this point to kind of share some things. So I prefer that we do it that way. This week also we'll be critiquing Poetry Project number 12, the found poems. Those are a little bit tricky to critique, but they're worthwhile to take a look at because you can kind of talk about maybe massaging the material, things along those lines. This week we're actually going to complete Poetry Project 13, which is free verse. It originally said prose poems, I know, in the original document, but it is in fact going to be a free verse poem, simply for the fact that we haven't done free verse yet, and free verse is kind of the loosest type of verse, and there's not a whole lot of fundamental difference between a prose poem and a free verse poem anyway. So we'll be doing free verse this week. Also this week you should be working on analysis paper 2, and also this week I've given you this assignment for poetry bundle number 3, which is due on May 6th. I will work on grading poetry bundles number 2, so you get those back here shortly, and that'll kind of be in preparation for the chapbook project, which is one of the last things we'll complete for the class. But you should be working on all these kinds of things, so it's a kind of pretty intense work week. Next week I'll be back with a full lecture kind of covering all the different materials and all the different poems and poets we've read. But for this week I think what I'd really like to focus on is just getting this getting you working and getting some things taken care of and things done, and I'll work on grading some things, and then next week we'll cover the contemporary poets. Do please remember though by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday to send me a poem that you'd like to submit for class reading, because I'd like to have those ready to go next week. So the readings for week 15 can be things that you've submitted. Alright, so if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Otherwise, take care, be well, and I'll talk to you folks again in about a week.